Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Grungle's Cavern.
Episode 4, baby!
Episode 4, baby. That's right, we're back at it again. We haven't missed a single episode in the past month.
Yep.
We didn't lose any footage.
Not even a little bit.
Nothing was lost.
We didn't lose a really cool thing that we did.
Yeah.
No, that didn't happen.
We gave away 20 Cybertrucks.
Yeah, actually, we went into Harlem and we gave away 20 Cybertrucks. It was pretty cool. Mr. Beast showed up, Donald Trump showed up, and he was actually telling us how cool we were. You know?
Yeah.
It's
it was
true.
Pretty moving.
Right before
when
he
it
went to
happened.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, right before he went to Pennsylvania.
True. He was just showing us his golf swing, too.
God. So I guess on that note, let's talk about what we've all been doing this past month. I personally have been playing a lot of games. I don't know about you guys.
Hey, I read a book.
Yeah, you wrote a book. Is it about giving away Cybertrucks?
No, I read a book.
Oh, you read a book, so you just lied to me.
Yeah. I didn't lie to you at all. You just misheard
He
me.
did say he read. He said he read a book.
Yeah. All right, so what book did you read?
It's called The Light of the Jedi.
Light of the Jedi.
Yep.
What's it about? Is it about Dune?
Yeah.
All right, awesome book. Give him a hand, guys.
No,
I'm not clapping
No
again
one's clapping.
because
You already clapped at the beginning.
All right, so I'm the only guy that clapped.
No, I clapped. I probably just got Discord suppressed. It'll show up in Audacity if Audacity doesn't shit the bed.
No, Audacity would never. It's the best program ever. We've never had any issues.
it is a good program. It's a good program.
I've been playing
Audacity, we hate you. You're an enemy.
No, save that. I've been playing a good bit of Elden Ring, and this new game I picked up. It's called Gunfire Reborn.
It's actually an old game.
Okay. This old game I just picked up called Gunfire Reborn. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I also picked that up because you purchased it for me. And you put it in my Steam gift.
Hey, true for me, too.
Yeah.
Not Justin, though. He bought it with his hard-earned money.
I haven't played that game yet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a little, you'll see some video of it in the background of this one. But it's like a little roguelite looter shooter with a talent tree kind of thing. Pretty cool.
Kind of Chinese animals with it, too.
Yeah, Chinese animals. But Elden Ring, everyone knows that, you know.
Yeah, DLC just came out.
Kai Cenat made it super popular. Pretty cool game.
It's nothing without Kaisen.
Yeah, honestly, Kai Cenat made the game with Miyazaki.
And Kojima.
Yeah,
It was a small game studio.
yeah. But who else? Who else has been doing stuff?
I've been playing. I've been trying out Marvel Snap, which is pretty fun.
Stop! Don't play that. Everyone, viewers, don't play that.
So yeah, it's an interesting take on a card game like deck builder. I think that the games are really quick and efficient, which is great for my dad energy. It's extremely addictive, very hard to put down. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I have not put a single dollar into it yet, which is the best part.
Hey, did you just say yet?
Yep. Haven't yet.
Fella's about to get that Marvel Snap subscription service.
No. The Battle Pass does look good, though. But also, of course, we stay on the chess grind. Been doing a lot of studying of the London system. I'm at the point where I know, I think it's somewhere in the realm of about 40 lines of London theory, so my brain is becoming full of it.
I'll say
but,
you don't need to know that much theory.
I'm having fun. No, it's great. I'm really liking, especially the latest theory I've studied. It's helping me a lot online.
Me personally, I've regressed
and then,
about
of course,
300 points.
Yeah. I mean, I've stagnated because I'm focusing on learning new theory right now, so I haven't grown a ton because I've been practicing new theory. But I have a feeling when I switch focus back to climbing again, I'll probably make my way towards the level.
Yeah, one day when I play the game again.
Beyond that, Pokemon Unite is a every season grind. Been having fun with that. I feel like it's in a really good, healthy, balanced spot.
First of all, they just released another balance patch for that, so you have no idea where it is.
All right, so as of pre today, it was in a really
and
good spot
I
balance
disagree
wise. I think
wholeheartedly. It was not in a good spot balance wise.
I don't know. I mean, there's a natural ebb and flow to all MOBAs. It's never going to be perfect, but I felt like it was a very diverse roster of Pokemon that could be played. To me, that signifies a healthy game state.
What?
If it's not a diverse roster, then it's not a healthy
What are you
game
talking?
state.
Wait. So you're just saying if it has a lot of Pokemon, it's a healthy game
No,
state?
not if it has. If there is a diverse roster of playable Pokemon, you can take them
you can
into
take
ranked
whatever
and
you
not
want.
embarrass yourself. I mean, not necessarily. Not once you get
So
to the
it's
higher
not
levels
healthy.
of it. No, even League of Legends, you can't take certain champions into the highest level of play.
Just Yumi.
Most, no, I would say most champions in League of Legends can't function
No,
at the
you're
highest level
wrong.
of play. I don't know.
Listen, say that to Kesha.
Listen, leave a comment in the bottom of this video and let me know if my take is right or wrong.
Actually, let's have the other host talk about Pokemon Unite real quick. Just because I know how this is going to turn out.
Wait a minute. Why is everyone moving on to bigger and better things? Can we talk about Star Wars Hunters? Okay, I'll talk about it.
No, let's
They've
not talk
got
about it, actually.
characters in there. They have there's characters with guns and items, and you hit each other.
By the way, I'm the clown.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a good segment of the
This is a-
podcast.
Autograph. We didn't
All
introduce
right,
ourselves.
I'm
That's a really good
gonna
point.
go next. I've been playing Minecraft. I'm a big Minecraft fella. The trial chambers came out. I've been raiding those on the server I play on. And then I also play Elden Ring. I was given the game, the base game. I purchased the DLC recently though. But yeah, I did a jar only run. I haven't completed it, but I got the Fire Giant with him. But I've been also playing Gunfire Reborn because I was also given that one for free. And Gunfire Reborn's pretty huge. It is pretty huge. But that's what's up with me.
And what are your thoughts on Pokemon Unite?
Oh, Pokemon Unite. I'm sleeping on it because if you go away from it and you come back, it's like, what is this game anymore? Because they released too many fellas.
Also,
and the balance is completely different every time you go back.
Also, they incentivize leaving for long periods of time.
They do. They
That's
incentivize
literally
leaving.
so true.
It's such a strange thing to do for a game that wants you to stay playing.
They don't incentivize leaving. They incentivize returning to
After
the game
leaving.
after you've
after
taken
long
an
periods
absence.
of time,
The
so
thing
then you
is,
leave permanently.
the game is not like delusional. It understands that you're going to want to play other things at certain
Like most
times,
of the time.
but it wants you to know that you've got a nice, comfy home to return to with some nice, shiny new stuff when you are ready to come back.
But you have to play during that return period for a certain amount of time, or you miss out.
Yeah, to remind yourself, wow, this is my mainstay game. This is the one that I always return to.
No, that's
Clock
Minecraft.
in once a month, collect a paycheck.
Yeah, what do you mean? I don't ever I return to Unite when I feel like, you know what, it's been a while since I've had brain rot.
I don't know. I enjoy it. I like the matches are only 10 minutes. It's conducive to being a parent. And I think that it's easy enough for random people to pick up, that people can have fun playing it together. I think it's a well-rounded MOBA. Probably one of the better MOBAs in terms of accessibility and ease of entry. Yeah, Wild Rift is actually, I rate that one up there too.
I think Wild Rift is the
I would say those two are probably the best MOBAs.
No, League of Legends is
on the
probably
market right
the best
now.
MOBA on the market. Let's not kid ourselves.
My gripe with League of Legends is that the matches are far too long.
Like 30 minutes.
For somebody who has... They're usually 40 minutes has been my experience.
I don't think I've had that experience.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just what my take on it. But even like a 30-minute match, it means like if you've got a toddler at home, you get like 2 matches, maybe 3 during nap time total of the game. And usually your third or second match is also going to be cut off in the middle when they wake up. And if you be a good parent and leave right away to deal with them, then you also get banned from the game. So for
like
me, it's definitely Unite is a much more accessible, safe MOBA that I enjoy playing, and that I also think just about anybody can pick up.
Yeah, so like just win faster, I guess, right?
It's a 5-person game. I mean, I can't control that.
You just win faster.
No,
you're 20% of the effort
on your team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're 20 exactly. You're 20% of the effort.
It feels like 100%.
There's a whole other 80.
That means
so there's a whole other 80% of the team.
If you're really good, and that gets multiplied by 0.2, then that
No, wait. Think about it. That means you want your teammates to AFK. Because then your effort is multiplied, right? So like the more people that are gone, the more effort, the more that your effort.
This is the wrong
matters,
kind of math.
You know? So like if if all 4 of your teammates AFK, you're 100% of the team effort. So it's all on you, whether you win or lose, right?
This is the wrong kind of math.
This is good math. Mathematically, I'm right. You are the reason that you lost if you're in a single player. Anyway.
I don't like video games.
Let's move on to the... You're a liar.
Yeah, video games are cringe.
Yeah, video games are dumb. We should get rid of video games.
Alright. So let's move on to the main topic here. This is a nice smooth transition from talking about video games. Let's talk about Eminem. Specifically, his new album labeled The Death of Slim Shady. Let's start with our initial thoughts on the album. Gita?
Gamer?
Yeah, go ahead and give us your thoughts on the album.
This should be good.
I didn't listen to it.
Oh, you didn't?
It's almost like it was the main topic of today's episode.
I don't like music.
It's kind of like it was like the only thing you sort of had to do.
That's crazy.
Not my forte.
That's crazy.
I even put it on the TV yesterday while you were in my house.
I was playing Star Wars Hunters. I was thinking about Graz from Star Wars Hunters. He's a Wookiee.
I know who I'm adding to the enemies list. So, I just wanted you to go first because I knew you didn't listen. I knew you didn't listen, you little snake. You little snake.
I'm not a snake,
You're
I'm a
snake.
Wookiee.
You're a snake. You didn't listen. It was the one thing.
I thought this was a
Fellow didn't do his one
podcast
job.
about gaming.
This was.
It's a media
We're here to
podcast.
talk
I don't
about
like media.
Multimedia.
I only
It has
like,
gaming as part of media,
No.
but that is not the only.
I only like books.
So anyway, what are some of our other thoughts on, on the album?
Probably wasn't even good, to be honest.
Well,
Go ahead, cable guy.
personally, it's got a 6 out of 10 from me, mainly because the lyrics are sus. I like some of the music. It sounds good, but and then you listen to the music, to the lyrics, and you say, "Wow, these are certainly bars that existed of all time." But that's my thought on it.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about what I loved about this album. First of all, the hooks, spectacular. They were Drake level hooks.
Looks so good you'd think they're a pirate.
Yeah, honestly. And specifically with the features, like White Gold had some good shit. Sly Piper, they were honestly, probably my two favorite features on this entire album.
Sly Cooper?
No, Sly Piper. Sly Piper. Some of my favorite bars were from the features, like JID had some really solid stuff. I will say that the second half of the album probably carried it for most people. If you know,
That is true.
a lot of people got kind of like, they didn't like the first half because it was basically like, oh, I'm being a bad boy, I'm gonna say bad things, or the things like in his skit songs, they took them as cringe, so to speak. But I enjoyed even stuff in the first half. I thought was really good. I'm gonna admit I would bob in my head through most of the album whether I liked the song or not. A lot of it was very catchy. Houdini, of course, being a really really fun song. Temporary is gonna be everyone's favorite song on this album. I didn't like Toby that much. Overall for me, the album had more bangers than not, and I thought it's probably his best work in the past 10 years, especially in the form of an album. So for me, it was like a 7 out of 10, which leaves Aiden Groff, Ashton Groff.
Let me crack my knuckles here, and let's really dive into this. I want to open this up, everybody, by playing a little game. I went on Discord and I went into the field and I collected some data going into this discussion. So the first piece of data I took, I'll actually read the lyrics. Right now we're trying to decipher here which bar goes harder is the question I asked. All right, so here is the bar from artist A. It goes exactly like this: whoever gets offended, suck a dick and fuck a critic, about to get retarded on this motherfucking shit it. You can't say retarded. Shut
First
up,
of
midget.
all, we're gonna have to censor half of what you just said. I can't believe you've done this.
That's
Second
fine.
of all, who doesn't know who that was?
Okay. So that is the first artist. All right. The second artist drops this single sentence bar. Everything I post nuts. Have some clarity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I went to the streets and I said, which of these two bars did you think went harder, was like more entertaining? And the results I got were actually surprising even to me. I expected some of the data to come back, split between the two, but it was actually completely polarized. The data I got back was that bar B, about the clarity, was actually 100% in favor of the audience I polled. Which I was surprised from. I thought for sure there'd be some truthers in the first line. But I did agree with the data in terms of it, like the sheer fact that, like, in a manner of 7 words, a sentence can be like 18,000 times stronger than what is practically word vomit for the other bar, with about 18 times the amount of profanity, and still considered to be like going harder and being more entertaining, I think speaks a lot to this album in general compared to some of the other comparisons that are out right now in the modern era of rap. There is another set I wanted to go by, which was 2 stanzas. I can't read through them right now. Simply because of the amount of profanity and vulgarity
No. I
that both of them
wouldn't mind
had.
any of that. It's because of how much time we'd have to spend reading it. But I just want to, before we move off these bars, the 2 bars, I just want to add in, sure, B won, and I even voted for B. But I want you to look at the rhyme scheme, first of all, on A. And I want you to look at something you can't look at, which is the flow of each bar. And when you break it down to more than just what's being said, which is what you do in music, right? Because not everyone listens to the lyrics. Let's be honest. My mother being a prime example. I would say that probably A has a catchier tune.
That's possible. I wouldn't disagree that that's a valid take. I think that the musicality to A, I've listened to both songs. The musicality to A is, you're right in that it's catchy. However, I think the musicality to B is equally catchy. Would I say that I believe B beats A in like rhythm and musicality? Probably not. But would I say that I enjoy listening to the majority of B compared to A more? Yes. And if I had more time, I would be interested to just straight up post both songs and see which one people would enjoy listening to more. B is a bar from Quadeca, by the way.
Who is that?
Quadeca?
Look it up.
Oh. He's a modern rapper who's up and coming in the scene. He did a lot of work on YouTube and has recently blown up much bigger. But I guess this is segueing into when I think about this album, I think that it reminds me a lot of from my take of it, it's a 50-year-old man who recognizes how fast the trend of modern fame shifts and the tidal waves, and is doing his best to kind of coast and ride atop of that. And he recognizes, because Eminem's always been kind of focused on being counterculture and against the green. And I think he recognized that, like, he had to really feed into this, which is why he brings back, like, the Slim Shady character to the persona to carry a lot of the first half of the album, and spiritually the second half as well. And the problem is that the lyrics he came up with for Slim Shady for himself, it's not, when I say that it's cringy, and that is the word I would use for it, it's not because it's offensive or because it's in bad taste. I believe both of those things are true. But what I mean by it is that it's so transparent and see-through that it comes across as like somebody who's posting themselves as somebody who believes that they're like big braining it and being like, yeah, you know, I'm going to get these Gen Zers who I hate to cancel me. I don't really hate them, but I'm going to pretend like I do. And I'm going to get them to cancel me because all press is good press. And that's going to get everybody talking. And then the millennials are going to come in and defend me. And I'm going to come across as like this big hot topic. And that is going to get the result that I'm looking for. But it comes across like, well, yeah, I mean, it's the brainchild of a 50-year-old dude who's doing everything he can to try and stay relevant. But
you act like he didn't do this with every album that he's ever released.
To me, I'm not looking at this album in the context of his previous albums. I'm looking at this album in the context of a standalone piece of art and music and how it can stand compared to its modern competitors.
But people have this same conversation. Like, I feel like this is just rehashing the same points that have been made throughout his entire music career. Because let's be honest, for Eminem, any press is good press. Nobody really cares. It's just that some of his albums age better than others. And to be fair, this is probably in his top 3 of his entire discography. Which calls into question, is Eminem top 5 material at all? Because for a lot of people, he is.
No. I mean, for me, I actually agree with what you're saying about this being one of his better albums, and about, this being his tactic and not an uncommon thing. And for me, that is what made me realize and kind of take a look back at some of his other music that I've liked and realize one true element for me when it comes to Eminem, which is 90% of what he writes is extremely cringy and transparent. And he is able to capture magic in a bottle in some rare moments. Every once in a while, he puts out a track that absolutely syncs with the age and the tone. It encapsulates his rebel without a cause energy, and really has this coherent, strong message. Lose Yourself is a perfect example of this. There is the classic debut single with Dre that really launched him out in the first place, that I think is a good example. I don't know the name of the single, but I've heard it before. And I remember liking it.
Perhaps speaking of Forgot About Dre.
The first one he did with Dre, where Dre is Dre's like the angel on the shoulder.
No idea. I don't know his discography.
It's early when he signed with Dre. It's like the song that made him.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't think Eminem's a top 5 by any means.
Yeah.
But I think he's leagues above most rappers out there. Leagues above current rappers. And let's not get it twisted. He's probably one of the best battle rappers. By far. By far. Like, he could probably go toe-to-toe with just about anyone out there. And I think that a lot of this album is bait to try and catch other rappers maybe throwing disses at him. Similar to what Kendrick Lamar has done twice now with Control or what was his more recent one? First Person Shooter. That's not the name of the song, but the one with Future and Metro Boomin, the one where both Drake and J. Cole decided to start shit with him afterwards. But I
Not
think
Like Us.
Say again.
Not Like Us.
Nope, that was the one that killed Drake.
Oh.
But I think in this album, Eminem actually is trying to do something similar, and I think a lot of something I wanted to just mention. A lot of this album seems heavily inspired by two artists. NF, because NF does that whole other like evil side character similar to Slim Shady, and he has in almost all of his albums he has that like dialogue back and forth. And the whole time listening to this album, I thought it was very similar. And I actually think he took beats from Kendrick Lamar with the storytelling elements of this album. Do I think he did either as good as the other two artists? No. But I think it was solid.
All right, I can agree with that sentiment that you can see the inspiration that he took, but I don't think he did it justice.
No, I mean I think that he's just starting to dabble in that stuff. Do I think he should keep trying? No, I think he should retire and end on a high note. People still have a lot of respect for him in the game, and I think that the longer he goes on, the more he's going to lose.
Yeah. I agree. I think that this album, in terms of me, where I would have considered myself previous to this album an Eminem fan. I have positive recollections on some of the previous albums, especially Recovery. And I would say that this album did a lot of harm in terms of my personal relationship with the rapper, because realizing how underdeveloped the lyricism is, and how incoherent sometimes his attempt at a storytelling album can be. For me, it made me wonder how much this persona I had crafted in my mind of him, of somebody who was like kind of more of a like lyrical genius and more of a rap like icon. Like, there's no question that he'll never be forgotten for his contribution to rap, and he's an icon for sure. But for me, this album really made me wonder how much of that was actually warranted, versus the fact that like the genre itself maybe had some growing to do at the time when he was really relevant.
Maybe. The thing is, he led a lot of that growth in the industry as a whole. And for that alone, he could be considered one of the greats. But I think that maybe his time is done. He's done his job.
Now, all of this to say, I didn't loathe the entirety of the album. And I think a lot of people... I gave it a 3.5. That means that there were elements of it that I did find redeemable. If I didn't find anything redeemable, that would have gotten a 1.
Sure.
There were 2 tracks that I felt were worth anything in the album. I felt that, and I'll even give it 2.5, because I actually felt that one of the tracks was really, really catchy and unique. Even though I didn't love the lyricism, I really like the musicality of Brand New Dance. I felt like that song in general was really innovative and interesting, and I hated the lyricism to it. I'll be honest. A lot of people, like even Anthony Fantano, defended the lyricism on that song, but
Oh no, we don't mention
I
that guy
just
here.
couldn't get behind that.
That's
I
an
just
enemy.
couldn't get behind
That's
it.
an enemy.
But the two that I
It's like
really
Stephen Colbert.
liked
Yeah, Stephen Colbert.
were Somebody Save Me and Temporary. I think both of those songs touch on where Eminem shines the brightest in my retrospective look at him, which is whenever he's talking about his daughter,
So whenever he's talking
or
about
appealing,
real stuff instead of
yeah,
putting on a
exactly.
persona.
Exactly. When he connects with some of his actual internal struggles and connects with his humanity, I think is when he kind of shines much stronger. You can really feel the passion. It's where his entire style really comes together and supports itself and builds on itself. I think both of these songs encapsulate this perfectly. Temporary especially really tugs on
Temporary's
the
very good.
heartstrings a lot. And so, it reminds me of his original ballad to Haley back in the day, back in the early 2000s. I thought both of those tracks were really strong.
I mean, Temporary and Somebody Save Me were cool and all, but I thought they were like, honestly, the one of the things that pissed me off about this album was just like the order of songs just didn't make sense. First of all, I would put Houdini right at the top because it kind of sets the stage for the rest of it. And I feel like Temporary and Somebody Save Me tonally didn't even make sense for the album. I love both songs, but I think that they would have done better off as like singles that weren't attached to the album. Like the tonal shift in those it's just weird. Now, do they bring the album up? For sure. Those are both great songs, and I will say Jelly Roll on Somebody Save Me, beautiful. I think that he did a better job than Skylar Grey on Temporary. Let's talk about some shit fucking what do you call them, features. Let's talk about Babytron. Get that guy out of here.
It's tough for me to even think about a lot of the other featured tracks because for me most of the rest of the album kind of blends together in this same like very like on the nose kind of repetitive narrative of
I'm gonna be a bad boy.
let's try to get ourselves canceled. Let's pretend like we're really edgy, even though we all know that we're 50 now and we're not nearly this edgy in
but
reality.
Totally, do you think all the music blends in together similar to a Post album?
No, actually. That's one of my big gripes with the album.
No, you can't tell me. Alright, first of all, my issues with Post albums is like you go from song to song and they all sound the same. All of his music sounds the same these days. I'm not going to say it's a bad sound, but have some some variance, please. A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the same problem that Taylor Swift's new album suffered from.
Yeah, everything it's all one blurry mess.
Yeah. I don't think that this album is like that. But the problem is, like, there's a clear dividing point. This actually is, this lost a lot of points in my head. There's a clear division point, at the midpoint of the album where he, the skit happens and he shoots Slim Shady and it's like, oh, he's dead and now, things are
Good
different.
song, by the way.
Except that Right. Except that things aren't different, and he actually goes back and proves himself to be hypocritical on a lot of his previous statements leading up to that point. Up until that point, he and Slim Shady are separate entities, and right. And then it turns out that the death of Slim Shady means nothing because nothing really shifts in terms of his actual sentiments. Some of the musicality and tonality of the music changes when Slim Shady dies, but the substance of most of the music, with the exception of the two very strong singles that come off that area that you're claiming shouldn't even be on the album, everything else really, from the perspective of the storytelling, which is supposed to be one of the big pieces to this album, it tells the same story. It's practically a nothing album in terms of it's inconsequential that the character of Slim Shady is killed, because the long story short,
you gotta kind of keep them going,
right? But the whole point is the pitch is, it's the death of Slim Shady. This is really consequential story, but it's not consequential at all. It actually means nothing.
Done it at the end of the album, but
yeah, if you did it at the end of the album, then I probably would have rated it higher. But because he did it in the middle and
in this fucking album.
made that choice, it detracted significantly.
One other thing before we move on from this, I just want to point out that although there were some weird issues with order, I do want to point out that there were some really smooth transitions between these tracks. Really smooth. For instance, Renaissance to Habits, you could barely tell that they switched song until you heard the beat switch. And that was quite impressive to me. But then there were some really bad transitions. For instance, from Temporary to Bad One. That pissed me off. That pissed me the fuck off. Because, like I said, it felt like Temporary came out of nowhere in this album. And then, you move to Bad One, which is, right back to the Slim Shady stuff. And it's just, it's jarring, almost, to go from Temporary to Bad One. So, that was the last thing I was gonna throw out there.
Yeah. Well, I have a comment to that, which is, it's interesting in my mind that you're right that it should be lauded when the transitions are good between songs. The problem is, in the art of musicality right now, music in general has just evolved so much at this point, and for me, and maybe I'm bougie, but for me, when I go into an album, I have an expectation that the transitions and the tonality should be strong and coherent. So for me, when pieces like that are missing at points in an album, it just detracts. And
I'm gonna be honest, most albums don't even make an attempt. And I'm talking about good 9 out of 10 albums. Not the amount.
You're right. And let me modify
Olivia Rodrigo doesn't do it.
Yeah. Let me modify my statement. When it's a storytelling album specifically is when I'm expecting these things.
Sure.
And because that's half the pitch of the album. Do I think that's fair? I don't know if that's fair, because
album, it absolutely is fair.
It's a hefty expectation, but at this point, there's a lot of storytelling albums out there, and I think that I think that it's something that just everybody's figuring out how to do.
Nah, so for me, got it on lock. Let me tell you.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you're talking about Kendrick Lamar, and I won't debate that.
Kid, Mad City.
I won't debate that he's extremely proficient at that, and I think that what he does is he sets a standard. because other artists are rising up to meet that as well. He's not the only person who's good at transitioning between music and keeping tonal coherence in his storytelling albums. And that's where I feel like somebody who's struggling to maintain relevance, like Eminem, one of the bare minimum things he should have done. Somebody who's struggling to maintain relevance.
You're
That's
wrong.
exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing.
He'll always be relevant. Rap and Eminem are synonymous. I'm sorry. It's just how it is.
Well, not in his head.
When people think of rap, Eminem is one of the first people that come to mind. Good or bad. Good or bad. People can have their opinions, but it doesn't matter who you are, whether you think he's good or bad. He's in your mind.
I agree, but not in his own head. I mean, there are lyrics in this exact album that point to that idea. There's a line where he's in one of the sketches where he's talking with Slim Shady, and he asks what opportunity is this, and Slim Shady says it's a third. It's his third opportunity to break out and become relevant again. It's literally the illusion that's being made in that lyric. That leads to the supposition that he believes he falls out of relevancy.
Too deep into these shallow lyrics.
I mean, to me, that one was pretty face value. When he's I don't know. When he's debating with his alter ego that he's crafted about the ethics and morality of what he's doing, I take a lot of that to be him speaking to himself and to the listener in this album. Do I think it's cringy? 150,000%. Because the parts that he's trying to like keep in his own head, he's not doing a good job at even there. And I think that it weakens his message to even try to make that attempt at all. But when he's dialoguing in the skits between himself and Slim Shady, I think that there's a lot on the surface there that is his legitimate sentiment, especially when it comes to that particular line. What I can tell about him based on his the way that he speaks in his music and the message that he puts out is that when he's talking about his reality as a musician and his reality when he's trying to work through things, he's usually being pretty straight up honest with his listeners.
I don't think anything he says in this album should be taken as honesty, except for 2 songs.
No, it's possible. Maybe that's just mine. It could very well just be my interpretation.
About, like, other artists, he does in fact call Lizzo fat. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I don't know. That might be a hot take, but we got to move on. Unless, Gaeta, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I don't like rap.
Hey, this guy's based with it. Yeah, I felt very useful during that section of the podcast.
I went potty personally.
You went to grab a cup of water.
Yeah, I went to go grab a plate of food during that.
That's good. The main, segment of the media podcast is the one where 50% of those tune out.
Let's move on to our.
We're good at this.
Our next topic, Audengraph, if you want to go ahead and introduce it.
Okay, so we polled on a couple of questions to debate, and the one we settled on is discussing the concept of AI art. When I say AI art, I mean AI music, AI paintings, AI creation. Is this something that as a society we should be trying to weed out in favor of like real artists and supporting arts and saying that should be reserved for like people? Or is it something that is a good tool to be utilized by people who are trying to hone it for various reasons, whether it be profit or humor or other elements, content, other elements like that?
I have an opinion.
Okay.
Hello, it's me, silent for the last 30 minutes. I think with AI art, it kind of roboticizes what makes art, in my opinion. I think art is probably it's mostly revolved around not only what the artist is trying to accomplish, but also their own flaws within the medium that they are portraying their message. I think that's what makes it special, is the humanization of art. So that's why AI is good, because it takes it away and also gets people out of jobs. So,
Huh? All right, hold on. I'm not gonna rebuttal that. What I will say is, I think AI is at its best when it's being used as a tool. For example, in the
removing people's jobs and their livelihoods.
in the new album, The Death of Slim Shady, I do believe that AI was used to recreate his younger voice for Slim Shady.
Yeah, and also you can use it to bring Tupac back from the dead, which
And
is
have
tasteful.
Snoop Dogg rap over your song at the same time.
Yeah, the guy who's actually alive too.
Yeah.
You can just steal from people, which is good.
That
I do
is
like
not
that.
so great, but I think that with the right amount of regulation, I think that it is a very useful tool, and one that, in fact, doesn't take jobs, but instead enhances those jobs.
No, we need to put people out of work.
It's kind of like what you're saying is like, you remember when they recreated people out of CG and the Star Wars sequels?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying that will take people's jobs.
Oh, okay. Let me put you on something. As technology advances, AI will take care of all of our things for us, right?
I could think of a few things
Like-
that it won't take
like-
care of.
Well, think about it this way. If we all get put into chairs and robots do all of the jobs,
Mhm.
and we just float around in
Or
our
WALL-E.
chairs and be lazy and watch TikTok, that's like Wall-E.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And then
And we get
then,
universal basic income.
True, and then at the end, there's a good song that plays in the credits. Oh, not that one, not that one.
But that song's a banger.
That one's good too. Actually, they've got a lot of good songs in there, and the robot's cute.
WALL-E's a
So
good
maybe we
movie.
should have AI.
Yeah, AI should take over.
So I'm going to take the unironic approach to having the stance that AI is okay.
I
And
wasn't being ironic. I think
The-
AI is fine.
no, I knew you weren't. I take this stance because I think that a lot of what it's being used for is not hurting actual artists, and the examples where it is hurting artists are the examples that society is doing its own work to autocorrect. For instance, there is an increasing number of musicians that are starting to use AI art in album covers. There is a distinct reason for this, which is
They're poor.
some of the numbers that are being thrown around that might be a little bit shocking in terms of what it costs to get original artwork put on the cover of your album. One quote that I heard one band come out and talk about was that an artist to do the take that they were really hoping to have happen was going to cost them $150,000 to have that be the cover art for their
That sounds
album.
like Wham Wham Baby.
Not every
stuff,
band not every band has that kind of disposable income to put into that, and if that's the market standard, that's pretty egregious, and it's hard to imagine how that shouldn't
so
be
don't buy
corrected
from that person.
now. Right, and yeah, they probably could have played the field more. Now, this is not even the end of the point, because then past that band is still receiving much more scrutiny than they are praise for making the step of doing a fully AI artwork album cover, because a lot of the community is speaking out on behalf of artists and saying, this is an example where, to artists, especially when you're in the music industry, you should be, even more catered towards supporting actual artists than the average person. And so society is taking the step to autocorrect these people and to get them the scrutiny that they should be receiving, to the point where the band came out and said, oh, but we used regular artists for all these things, and they feel like they have to defend themselves. So it's autocorrection, I feel like, that's happening, and it's going to discourage them from doing that in the future. So I think that in a lot of regards, the areas where it's hurting is being autocorrected by society. And for that reason, I think that AI is such a useful tool for so many other things when it comes to creative locks that a lot of average people face when they're trying to work on projects that they have a lot of elements, but there's this creative piece. Maybe you're not naturally a good artist, you didn't go to school for that, but you really want to write a book or something, or maybe you're playing a tabletop game with your friends and you want to create a creature, and you don't have that kind of art skill, you don't want to commandeer something, nobody wants to draw it for you. That's exact example where AI can really take that extra step to help with that.
True.
So
we can use the program that algorithmically takes things that other people have done.
See, that's why I said regulation is important.
And creates it creates new stuff with its model-based learning.
But I do want to throw out that AI as we know it right now is not as useful as we want it to be. And what we're seeing now is not representative of what AI will be in the future, especially if the dream is ever cracked that AI becomes self-learning, and where it creates this kind of this positive feedback loop of learning.
Yeah. Mostly, yeah. I mean, I don't feel like Gaeta, your counterpoint really countered the statement I was making,
well,
which
they're two
is
different
that
points.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's a great tool if it's not being taken advantage of too heavily.
Well, right now,
True,
AI
Google
as it
searches
exists,
new AI.
Right now, as it exists, AI is in fact learning from what's currently out in the market. So, for instance, there are AIs that are trained on other artists' work against their will, is essentially what Gaeta is saying, which is kind of like plagiarism. I mean, just straight up.
Sure, but who's it hurting if you're using that for your Dungeons and
It's
Dragons?
hurting the artist.
If you're using it for private uses, sure. But if you're using it for something public,
That's my statement.
Album covers, for example.
Album covers. That's what I was saying. That's not good, and that's being corrected.
I think that with anything like this, there needs to be regulation. Anything. Most things are regulated in this country. Tools are regulated. It is important.
Forklifts.
Yeah, forklifts are regulated. You need a whole thing to use one. You need a license. So I
need to be forklift certified.
I'm not saying you need a license for AI. What I'm actually saying is that the developers need to be regulated on these AIs, and there needs to be some rules in place. I don't know what those rules are. I couldn't begin to tell you what they should be or shouldn't be, but there need to be some.
I think Google's getting it done. Their new AI search feature that told somebody who Google searched how to deal with their depression, told them to kill themselves as an option. And honestly, that's pretty smart. I also like how Google in all of their AI research have reported a 50% increase in their global carbon emissions since 2019.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. So they're getting it done with this AI stuff.
Yeah, but how much quicker are you getting the information you need? Let's be honest.
Not, because you have to scroll down a little further to find the Reddit results.
You have to fact check it. Because the AIs are not, unfortunately, they're not always right. Or they give you info, especially on Google, it gives you info on something that's completely unrelated to what you searched up. So it still has some work to be done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a finished product.
You had no input, though, Cable Guy. What's your
Yeah,
input?
I'm bad at interjecting, but my thought is that art pleases people, and to say that AI is going to be stealing jobs, I don't think that's the case unless it can replicate trends, which are, what people want to indulge in. It's not something that AI can fabricate on its own. It can't just decide, oh, this is trendy, we're going to start making this. No,
only the
people
prompt
won't
engineers
engage in
can.
that. What?
Only the prompt engineers can tell the AI to make the trend.
So my train of thought is that if we're talking about AI as a whole and as it's progressing, the thought on is it ever going to be able to replace real human people? No, it can't. It won't ever, because it can't come up with those trends, because trends are based on humanity's wants and needs. AI can't make its own.
Well, here's trends for you. Business models and spreadsheets. Those are trends, and AI calculates them actually now.
Okay, but
and people lay people off.
You
from
have
their
new
business.
jobs in creating AI.
Oh, okay. Every businessman who was laid off, go become an AI developer.
All right.
Yeah, so
you 50-year-old, your skill set will apply here.
Okay, so then tell that to the calculators that replace the people who did math in NASA. Tell that to the wagon workers who brought people across the country when their jobs got replaced by airplanes and automobiles.
I feel like that's a jump. We went from wagon workers to planes?
the spirit.
Bro, what game of Civilization are you playing?
My point is that jobs disappear all the time.
Yeah, I got
because
that.
of
But
human
wagon workers
advances.
to planes is crazy.
That's why I said automobiles, but it's the same difference. The point still stands that jobs disappear all the time and get replaced by new ones in the future.
I also don't think that AI is going to replace the jobs that we think it is.
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest argument against it right now is in the world of the arts. That's why I brought it up in that medium specifically, because
that's what I was talking about.
I think it needs to get regulated sooner than later.
Interjection.
Because
I've got a good one.
What?
But going off that regulation point, I don't think that people will be able to control it. It's kind of like how we're not able to control back when we were doing colonizing, we couldn't control that.
Huh?
We can't control slavery nowadays in other countries.
This guy's getting ahead of himself a little bit.
Where
I
are we
think.
going?
Please, we don't need to get canceled.
This guy's technologically advancing too far.
Nah. I'm talking about there's things in humanity that we can't control.
Please. I don't want to be Jack
It's true,
Black.
but most of the time it's not like a man-made thing per se.
Wait a minute.
Okay, tell that to drugs.
Wait a minute.
Well, drugs, there are natural
We're moving
drugs
on.
too.
We're
That's
moving
real.
on. We gotta move on real quick before people realize what just happened.
Yeah, so basically, I just think like maybe if AI did the laundry, like if we got one of those a house robot, they should make that before the AI. That would be smart, because then you can do the laundry and you have the time to learn how to paint yourself, perhaps.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the common argument, the mainstay counter argument to AI in the arts.
Maybe we
Probably
should
the
be the
most
ones
popular
doing
one.
the creativity. It's in our nature.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next topic. This is one only I know. Kind of had to add it after I saw some problematic behavior.
The egg came first.
In our
The
doc
proto
here.
chicken laid the
I'm-
egg that
I'm-
became the modern day chicken.
I'm just
I
gonna
already
throw
beat
it
you.
out there. Someone's getting punished. And there are two reasons they're getting punished. One, they didn't listen to the album. And two, what is this Who Are Our Heroes section here in white font on the Google Doc? What is this?
You said for us to add.
No, not
to-
that. Not that. And so for those
You
two
said to
reasons,
add.
no, we don't have heroes. We only have enemies. You need to understand that. So the punishment, we're gonna vote on it. And my vote is that you have to watch every TikTok that's sent to you this week.
No. You don't get it. I have 68 loaded from Ryan alone.
Yeah. So that's what I vote on. And the other two, feel free to vote on some punishments here because something's got to happen.
Oh, that's a really strong one. That's a really strong
That is a
punishment.
strong one.
I don't want to.
Look,
Just got
you
three
could do
more
that,
from him in
or
the last 5 minutes.
you can listen. You can film yourself watching the entirety of Has Been Hotel.
Okay, I'm watching the TikToks. What the fuck?
Hey, hold on. We got something else to add to the list.
That's so true.
That's very
Has been
true. But we'll get to that. in
No,
a
that's
moment
only
here.
half true, though.
So yeah, I think for the next week you're gonna have to you're gonna have to watch every TikTok that's sent to you,
I don't
and I'm
want
gonna have
to.
to fix my For You page to give me all those David Portnoy pizza reviews.
I'm still getting them.
Are you really? I haven't gotten them.
I keep
Hold
getting
on.
them. You
Why are you getting
this to
little
me.
children playing gorilla tag?
I thought that
in
was
your
gonna get
feed?
real bad for a second.
Yeah, I was not.
Cable's been the controversial king this episode. He barely spoke, but in the past 5 minutes.
True. I'm gonna get canceled mode.
Gen Z him,
Just
everyone.
Yeah,
like-
everybody Gen
yeah,
Z 'em.
I'm getting Gen
Everybody
Z.
Gen Z 'em.
I'm getting Gen Z. I'm getting I forget what that one song's called.
Is there a secret listener to the podcast
Trouble.
today?
No.
What?
Are we sure about
Yep.
that?
What does that mean?
I'm just taking a look at memes and media.
No, it's because of the poll.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Wait,
All right.
No. That was in response to me.
I think maybe he hopped in for a second.
He probably
Oh,
heard
no,
through
he-
the hallway.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, he lives in the same house as me, so he probably heard me.
Audio
Audio
listeners
listeners.
love you to death. We're jelking right now.
No.
We might maybe we'll cut in a picture of the screenshot.
We won't.
That
Matt
person
won't
sent-
do that.
Don't promise
Yeah,
that
I'm
unless you're
definitely
doing the
not
post
going to be
editing.
doing that. So,
Yeah, I'm not either. Okay.
let's close it out with our last topic: our enemies. Those of you who have been watching this podcast since day one know we have enemies. All right, let's go over them. We got Taylor Swift, we got Andrew Tate, We got Wilbur Soot, right? Were there others? Conan, was it Conan O'Brien?
Conan O'Brien. We ate Conan
We
O'Brien.
hate him, but we gotta add. We gotta add one more to the list. So
Is it the one in black?
no. Let's officially add an enemy. This could be anything, anyone. My votes for probably BetterHelp.
BetterHelp's a pretty good enemy.
BetterHelp is a pretty good enemy, and here's my argument. They make it impossible, like not impossible, but very hard to cancel a subscription to BetterHelp. They also don't stand behind the people that are on their own platform. Like, they straight up say if they're not qualified, it's not their job to vet that, which is kind of crazy for a company that
What the hell
is behind like therapy, right? And then the cancellation.
They feed your information into their algorithm.
Say again?
They feed your information into their little algorithm.
That's true. They do, in fact, sell your personal information to other companies. Fun fact. So,
Yo, sit on your therapy's couch and have the Coke employees listen in.
yeah, so that's definitely my
Dang.
vote. BetterHelp is a good enemy, in my opinion.
Yeah, they suck.
They
suck.
also do, in fact, sponsor a lot of YouTubers, so that is something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, I see some other things on this list that'll end some sponsorship real quick.
Fuck you, Starforge.
No, wait, they're good, actually.
Gamer Sup's more like gamer.
Now, hold on. Ever since Schlatt bought that company, it's been a real good company.
Yeah, so true.
But any other
So true.
votes for enemies?
Probably
I think
cripples.
Caleb is a
I'm
strong
a pretty
vote.
good enemy.
Cable guy?
I'm on the list.
Cable guy is the enemy?
I'm the enemy host. I am canceled.
Yeah.
So, I'm
you might
enemy.
be canceled after this one.
No, he got canceled in real life too.
Yeah, I
Should you
did
do
get
story time?
canceled in real
Wait,
life.
can we have story time with the cable guy?
No, it's too.
Well,
it's too incriminating. It's not.
it might be incriminating, especially if if charges aren't pressed. They could be pressed in the future.
No, you just made that.
This is not a.
I think you have to explain it because that could mean so many things now. Wait, actually,
Maybe
don't comment
maybe
on
that
it.
gets cut out.
Legally, don't comment on it.
Yeah, I'm pleading the fifth on this podcast.
So we're gonna end it
So,
there,
guys.
folks. I hope you guys.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Hold on.
I think that part needs to get cut.
Hold on.
No, we're gonna leave it in. It's okay.
Nope. I've got something to add.
Yeah.
I'm not taking this punishment without getting what I deserve. Who are our heroes?
No. This is why you're getting punished. This is exactly why you're getting punished.
Everyone,
No,
today's
no,
episode
no.
is
We
sponsored
only
by
have
Raymore and
enemies.
Flanagan.
We have
No,
enemies.
it's not.
If you go to
actually sponsored
RaymoreandFlanagan.com,
I hate you, Raymore and Flanagan.
We are not not sponsored by Raymore and Flanagan.
it's not true. Whatever they're saying, it's not true.
All right, so
Guys, go buy
are we
pillows. Go
going
buy
with BetterHelp
mattresses.
then?
BetterHelp's a good
Yeah,
enemy.
I think I agree with
All right,
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
I mean, I would have loved to see Vladimir Kramnik be the pick, but
He's not an enemy because he's not
BetterHelp
around
is
anymore.
fine.
That's not true.
Vladimir Kramnik?
We should throw Adolf Hitler.
He's a very
on the
real
enemy
person
list.
who's very active right
I
now.
don't think. I think you're wrong.
No, he's a very popular
I know
chess
this
GM.
guy.
I mean,
Nobody
Christopher
cares about this
Reeves
guy.
is dead.
True.
I care
Christopher
about
Reeves is dead.
Stem cell bitch.
Okay, but yeah, I think
True.
BetterHelp, official enemy of the podcast from here on. Unless they pay us a lot of money.
Or fix their
Mostly that though,
shit.
right? I mean, clearly that. Yeah, but yeah, if you give us a lot of money, probably change our. Anyway, official enemy BetterHelp. Let's close it out here.
Yup, shout out to Rayman. Rayman and Flanagan. Rayman, Raven,
So-
Rabbids.
I think the best way to close it is with our number values on the Eminem album.
Oh, I thought you just meant our numbers, our personal
No, no, no.
numbers.
What numbers?
Our phone
What?
numbers. Let's add it. Let's
No.
go.
No,
Special
our ratings
numbers.
on the Slim Shady album.
All right,
Didn't
we'll start
listen
with
to
Gata.
Yep.
I don't have a score. I didn't listen to it.
Well, that was
Okay,
all, folks.
so-
Thanks for tuning in.